I guess they had shot the pilot with Carl Reiner. Carl had written the show for himself. And I think it was Sheldon who saw me first and said, you should go see this guy. And Carl came to see me and came backstage and asked me about it. And he gave me about 8 scripts he had written. And that did it. I read those things and I said, oh, I've got to do
What
this.
was it about your performance in Bye Bye Birdie that made Carl Reiner and Sheldon Leonard believe that you'd be right for Rob Petrie?
You know, something I don't know. Because there's a lot of singing of I did, some light comedy in that. But exactly why they saw me as Rob Petrie, I don't know. I really don't know what they envisioned. Carl Reiner, because I think the biggest milestone in the history of television comedy was the Show of Shows with Sid and Carl Reiner. And I had once been invited up to meet the group. And I idolized Sid Caesar, just the greatest thing that ever was. And when I heard that Carl Reiner wanted me, I wouldn't have missed it for anything.
Oh, so you're well aware of who Carl Reiner was.
Oh, yes. I was the biggest fan of the Show of Shows. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. To this day, he's probably my favorite human being that I've ever known. He's just a great guy.
But at the time, were you intimidated by him, or were you trying to impress him?
No,
or was it the other way
Carl's
around?
not the type of person that it is intimidating. He's such a warm and wonderful man that he puts you immediately at ease. Well, first of all, there was a reality to it. There was never any attempt to be funny for its own sake. The relationship between the husband and wife and the writers, it was very, very real. Everything that came out as funny came out of the reality. There was never, a blatant attempt to be funny. I loved it. Did you know something? I never thought about it. I said, that I can do. I just knew it. The writing was so good, I think anybody could have done it, but I wouldn't tell anybody that back then. And they gave me a week off from Bye Bye Birdie, which I had coming, and I flew out here and did the pilot. The pilot episode was called the Sick Boy and the Babysitter, I think, where we want to go out, but the baby is sick, and she doesn't want to, and I end up bodily carrying her out. They had me read, but they had already had Maury Amsterdam and Rosemary. And Mary Tyler Moore had auditioned to be Danny Thomas' daughter. And Danny had said with that nose, she could not possibly be my daughter. But they remembered her because she had read very well. And I remember reading with Mary, but first of all, she was so young. She was 23 years old and a very good actress. But I said, this is going to be a comedy person? Because there was no hint at all that Mary could do comedy. I said, she may be the next Katharine Hepburn, but I don't know about comedy.